with Joey Chan, and welcome to the Newbie Real Estate Investors of New Jersey podcast, show number 1. So today, we decided that we're going to start our interview series with one of the two hosts of the show, Joey here. So, Joey, if you don't mind, tell us about yourself.
A little bit about myself. I've been a real estate investor for the past 2 years. Prior to that, I've been a contractor for the last 16 years. I attended Seton Hall University for my undergrad. I have a family and 3 kids, 2 girls, and my youngest is a son. So that's a little bit about myself.
All right, that's awesome. So Joey, how'd you get started in real estate?
Since I've been a contractor for the last 16 years, I thought it was almost like a natural progression to become an investor. I see a lot of guys that are investing and they're buying homes and they're doing their flips. And I wanted to kind of build like a legacy for myself and my family. So I started doing the flips because it was something that I kind of knew how to do, because I've had previous investors kind of hire me to do it. The only thing I didn't know at the time was I didn't know how they did their finances, but I understood the construction side of the business, where because I was a contractor, it came pretty natural and easy to me.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, Joey. Just backtracking a little bit, outside of the podcast, I know we spoke about this a while back. You said that you started in real estate and construction, but before that, really, you were in sales at the Home Depot or something similar to that. Can you elaborate a little bit more, just to let the audience know exactly where you started? Because you weren't an overnight sensation.
No, absolutely not. Again, because I've been in this construction industry about 16 years. So prior to that, I worked at Home Depot as a kitchen designer. So I had a friend of mine who actually recruited me to Home Depot, and even prior, so we're kind of going backwards now. So prior to that, he asked me to come on board to Home Depot because I wanted to do computers. I wanted to be involved in computers. And he said, hey, come to Home Depot, you're going to be working side by side with me on computers. And I didn't know exactly what that meant, and then, and I also didn't know he was one of the top kitchen designers in, across the country, So I was trained by, someone who was, really on the top of their game.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So, from very humble beginnings, I could see then.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, can you tell me, where do you typically invest?
Sure. I usually do a lot of work in the Essex County area. So that's kind of like my backyard, if you will, because I started, doing a lot of work there. So I know the geography there very well. I had a very good idea of what home values were, and because of that, I kind of understood what type of construction needed to be done in order to, make the best of it going forward.
Oh wow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And Joey, aren't we in actually one of your most recent renovations?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're here in Plainfield, New Jersey. So John and myself, we acquired this property in January of 2019. We completely renovated the property. As you see back here, this is a brand new kitchen, new floors. The entire house was painted over. We added a bathroom. We added a new bedroom as well. So everything was basically redone.
Nice, awesome.
Thank you.
So yeah, Joey, if you could tell me, what's your main strategy in real estate that you like to do?
So I have basically I have three strategies that I do. I know you should really focus on a certain strategy, especially when you start out. That's kind of what I did do when I first started out. Um, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit of what I do now. Uh, my strategy is, like I said earlier, is buy and holds. You know, that's basically one of my favorite strategies to purchase the property, fix it up, and then rent it out. It's also commonly known as the BRRRR strategy: buy, rent, uh, repeat,
Rehab,
refinance,
refinance, and
refinance, and repeat. So that's one of the strategy that I love myself. I didn't discover that until about 2 years ago. Um, the strategy that I understood the most coming into it, being a contractor, is obviously fix and flip. So that's the strategy that I actually started out with, doing that. And then there's another strategy that I have been learning about, which is wholesaling. So wholesaling is basically getting a property under contract and then selling that contract to another investor. So that's another great strategy to use as well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I know we've actually been a part of some of those strategies together.
Yes.
You know, we're working on a refinance in Belleville. When you refinance, basically what you're doing is you're taking the loan that's already on it with, let's say, a hard money lender, and you are basically wiping out that entire loan with a new loan that's a longer fixed rate mortgage. So that way you could keep the property and make some cash flow from it. You know, as far as wholesaling, there's a lot of different strategies with that. You know, like the one that you mentioned was the most basic, as far as you know, assigning a contract and selling it to another investor.
Yes.
So let me ask you something about that.
Yeah.
Of those three strategies that you mentioned, which do you prefer the most and why?
Again, I prefer doing the buy and hold strategy the best, because going back to what I said earlier was that's what's going to allow you to kind of build a legacy for your family. You know, to have something that you can pass down to your kids in the future. So for me, it's pretty important because I do have young children, and I want to be able to, you know, build something for them. You know, because as basically a second generation immigrant, my parents never had anything to, you know, they had to start from scratch. You know, and they basically taught me, you know, to work hard, to, you know, whatever you get, you're gonna work hard for it. But what I've learned from, you know, reading a lot of books and you know, meeting mentors and different meetups, is that it's not only about working hard, but it's also about working smart and letting your money work for you as well. And that's basically one of the ways to do that with the buy and hold strategy.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense. So you mentioned a lot of different things right there, Joey. So I guess you could say that your parents taught you from a young age to be very entrepreneurial then.
Yeah, they didn't actually teach me to become an entrepreneur, but it was something that I kind of watched as I grew up. You know, my dad, he had a number of restaurants when he was younger, and a few of them actually failed. But what he did was he actually never gave up. He kept going, you know. So it really like inspired me to just never give up. Just keep going for after what you want.
Oh wow, you know that's definitely that's some definite value add right there. Because even in real estate, do you think everything you've done has been a complete success? Or actually, you know what? Let me ask you something. What's one of your biggest failures in real estate? And what's one of the biggest or most recent failures?
So I would say what the most recent failure is. Part of real estate is actually the contractors, right? So recently we had to fire an electrician, which is kind of noted on Facebook, and even as a very experienced contractor, you always run into issues because of personality, people wanting their money, just miscommunication, things like that. So no matter what you do, there's always times that things are unavoidable.
Of course. Yeah, no, I know, like, just going to Joey's point, as we fired the electrician, and he caused some damage into one of our units. So, real estate isn't all rainbows and sunshine. You don't get this final product without some headaches, dealing with the townships, things like that.
Yeah.
So, just backtracking a little bit more, though. I know you mentioned that you read and listened to a few books and podcasts and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any that you would recommend to the audience?
Definitely. I have 3 books that I really love, and they're all pretty popular books. They're not, any like hidden books. So the first one I would say is Rich Dad Poor Dad. It talks about cash flow quadrant and different ways to create income. The next book I would say is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This was a book that was introduced to me almost 20 years ago. I read that, completely forgotten about it, and then most recently I reread the book, and it's very powerful in that, whatever you think and concentrate, you put your time into, that's what you're gonna basically get. So if you're gonna concentrate on building your real estate, that's what you're gonna get. If you're gonna concentrate on just going out, partying and things like that, that's what you're gonna get. So it's whatever you focus on. The next book is The Richest Man in Babylon. That just talks about lessons on how the man became the richest man in Babylon. And it's simply, I'm just gonna give you a quick tidbit. So you guys go out and read the book, right? So it basically talks about how to save. Pay yourself before you pay others. Okay, so that's the biggest thing, and which I should follow, which I don't.
That's funny.
Not yet.
Well, soon.
Yeah.
Paying ourselves a little bit
Right.
at this home. So that actually brings me back again to another topic you mentioned, because again we're going through a lot of different topics all fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something about meetup groups.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I'm part of a meetup group. It's called the NJ RIA. This New Jersey Real Estate Investors Association. If you go there, you're gonna see me usually at the door. Making sure you guys have paid or already have paid. So that's one of the groups I belong to. I also belong to several other groups as well. A New Jersey multifamily group as well. So there are a lot of groups you guys can go to locally in New Jersey. They're in northern New Jersey, central New Jersey, South Jersey as well. So plenty of groups you can join.
Yeah. So there's plenty of groups you could join. You just need to go to meetup.com, look them up. Just type in like real estate investing, and I'm sure you'll see a ton of them. So why do you go to those groups, or why are you a part of one or several?
Yeah, I go to the groups because first of all, networking. You know, you never know who you're gonna meet there. You know, you can meet your business partner. You can meet a private funder. You can meet somebody who has deals. You know, you can meet a realtor. You can meet your future wife. Who knows? You know, it could be unlimited amount of people. You know.
Future wife.
So I actually I spoke with Jonathan prior to that. The way we met, we actually met on Facebook originally. You know, we were chatting, and then I actually met you for the first time at a meetup group. So you know, and then it turned into a partnership, and then you know, like now we're like really good close friends. You know, so it could turn into really good things. You know, just meetup groups. So I highly recommend.
Exactly. And again, you hit on another point with Facebook groups. Like some would actually say that you're very popular on social media. Why do you use it?
You know what? It was something unintentional. It wasn't like, hey, let me become like. You know, there's a lot of like stars on, let's say, Instagram or Twitter or even Snapchat. I see Facebook as being just a medium where I can keep in touch with all my friends. You know, so originally I went on there to find sellers, you know, people that wanted to sell their property. And I had a virtual assistant, a VA rather, that used to run my account on there, and he started adding all these investors and things like that. And after a few months, after I was paying him, I said, hey, you know, there's no sellers here. You know, why are you adding all these like investors? What are they gonna, you know,
What's their value?
Yeah, what's the value, right? So eventually, like going back, you know, like I ended up meeting you and met, you know, several other people on there, you know. So that's really the value, you know, just meeting people, keeping in touch with the people, because, you know, you can't make a phone call to everybody, you know. So that's a great way to do it. I'm also on Instagram as well as John too.
Joey, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no.
So you mentioned that. Question for you: How many deals are you working on right now?
Currently, I have about 6-7 deals active. I just closed on another property earlier this week on Wednesday. Next week.
For the purchase or the
purchase.
Okay.
Yeah, purchase. Actually, I lied. So this week I have two properties. I made a purchase on Wednesday. On Thursday, I sold the property in Maplewood. And next Thursday, I'm purchasing another property in Roselle.
Nice. So that would be your 4th or 5th for the year.
So the Roselle property would be the 4th purchase of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And question, of all those properties, how many did you find through networking?
I would say all of them. All of them have been through networking of some sort.
Sorry, I don't know if you saw me, but at the camera, just going back and forth. Because honestly, that's just the power of networking. You don't realize it, but you know, you may the next deal you find could be just from reaching out to someone on Facebook, reaching out to someone on Instagram, meeting someone at a meetup group. You never know. So Joey here, he's like the social media guru when it comes to that.
I really wouldn't call myself that.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I guess, I guess we've been talking a lot at this point. So I'll just ask you one last question.
Sure.
What piece of advice would you give people who want to get started today?
So for anybody that really wants to get started, what I did was almost 5 years ago, I started attending meetup groups. So I went online. I went to meetup.com, like you mentioned earlier, and I joined as many groups as possible. And then from there, I started attending a few. I looked at which one was good, which was the biggest one, and then started attending them. And then started talking to guys that are actually investing, guys and gals that are actually investing in real estate. Going out there, talk to them, go out to their job site, seeing what the job site is all about, find out who they're using, just network, just keep networking. You never stop networking. As you get progress in the real estate business, you keep networking, and then you network with, as you progress, right? You get into the higher, let's say, multifamily, into apartment complex, into commercial real estate, instead of just doing single family real estate. So there's more and more people you need to meet that'll help you do your business.
Okay. Wow. So I guess that's basically it, right?
Yeah.